Good morning children, welcome to aimsindia's online classes. This is biology session. You are watching living and non-living part 3. So children, we have been discussing about the living and non-living things, how they differ, what are their characteristic features, all these things we are discussing. Okay. So in the today's class, more interesting things we are going to discuss. Are you ready children? Let us proceed. Non-living things. Sand, wood and glass. These are all non-living things. Do you agree? Yeah. So we discussed in the last class also some table, okay, ball as a non-living thing. Okay. Today some more thing. None of them is here sand, wood and glass. None of them shows any of the characteristics listed above, the 7 characteristics which we have listed in the previous class. Okay. What are they? Growth, reproduction, respond to the stimuli, okay, breathe, eat, feel, whatever it may be. So those characteristics not shown by sand, wood and glass. That's why they are non-living. So non-living things can be divided into 2 groups. The first come those which were never part of a living thing. Okay. What are they? Example, stone and gold. They are never part of a living thing. The second group is those which were once a part of living things, just like wood, okay, coal. It is a good example. Coal is a good example for the second group. Means it is the thing which were once a part of living thing. Okay, what is coal? How coal is formed? Coal is formed by the destructive distillation and carbonification of the dead remains of plants and animals. Okay, the large trees, the animals, they are buried in the soil at the time of natural calamities like volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, and they have undergone the putrefaction process and finally form the coal, isn't it? So that's why it is a non-living thing, come under second group. So this coal is formed when the trees died and sank into the soft ground. This happened many millions of years ago when the earth was covered with thick forests. Paper is non-living, but it is also made from the pulp of the trees. So it also comes under which category? Second category of non-living things. Jam. Jam is also non-living, but it was made from the fruits of a plant. So how interesting it is. We know that non-living things are only not having any life, but there are certain things are there once they are living and now they are non-living. Okay, that second group. Okay, coal, paper and jam. Jam is also a non-living, but it was made from the fruits of a plant, fruit jam. Sauce. Okay. Now once again let us recall the 7 characteristics of living things. Feeding, eating. All living organisms need to take substances from their environment to obtain energy, to grow and to stay healthy. Okay. So in order to obtain energy or get energy, and in order to grow and in order to stay healthy, every living organism has to feed. Okay. Food is required. Where from the energy produced? The energy is produced from the food which we eat. which the living organism consume, isn't it? Next, second characteristic feature, movement. All living organisms show movement of one kind or another. Can plants move? No, they are stationary, but they are living things. They also show the movements, but the movements internally. Okay, for example, if you keep a plant near in the dark, it tries to move towards the light. Okay, it shows some movements. The movements in the plants which you will study in higher classes. Okay, in the growth and movements lesson you are going to study. Tropic movements, okay, nastic movements are shown by the plants. So all living organisms show the movement of one kind or another kind. All living organisms have internal movement, which means that they have the ability of moving substances from one part of their body to another part, isn't it? So that kind of movements are called internal movements. Okay, in our body also, the food which we eat get digested. The digested food stays in the stomach itself or intestine itself? No, it is assimilated, absorbed into the blood, and the blood carries those nutrients, digested nutrients, to different cells, each and every cell of our body, isn't it? That is a movement, internal movement. So we studied amoeboid movement. Okay, so internal movements takes place. So some living organisms show external movement as well. They show external movements as well. They can move from place to place. Okay, different types of locomotion we have studied about the locomotion. Locomotion means it's a complete movement of an organism is called locomotion. But movement is the term which is applicable to the movement of a part of an organism. Okay, so here the locomotion, walking, flying, swimming, running, jumping. Okay, so these are all the movements. These type of movements are called external movements. Okay, next characteristic feature, breathing or respiration. Third important characteristic feature of living organism, breathing or respiration. All living things exchange gases with their environment. The animals take in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide. Okay, this is external respiration. Respiratory organ is involved. Okay, even plants also respire. Stomata, the structure which helps in the exchange of gases. So all living things exchange gases with their environment. The animals take in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide. Okay. Next, excretion. Another the fourth important characteristic feature of living organisms, excretion. Excretion means the removal of waste from the body. If this waste was allowed to remain or retain in the body, it could be poisonous or intoxify. Okay, and the humans produce a liquid waste called urine. Okay, what are our excretory organ? Kidneys. Okay, we also excrete the waste when we breathe out. Okay, what is our breathing organ? Lungs. We breathe out which air? Carbon dioxide. Okay, it is not of any use. We breathe out. Okay, anything which is not useful will be eliminated from the body. Okay, that process of elimination of waste materials is called excretion. Excretion is also an important characteristic feature of living beings, living things. Next, all living things need to remove the waste from their bodies. So even plants also eliminate the waste materials. Okay, so in the plants the waste materials may be in the form of gum, tannins, latex, okay, alkaloids, like that. The different types of products are produced by the plants, wastes. Okay. The next number 4, fifth characteristic feature, growth. When living things feed, they gain energy. Some of this energy is utilized in the growth. The living things become larger, means increase in size, and more complicated as they grow. Okay. For example, when you are 1 year, when you are in the nursery, very small, but now in the 6th class, see difference in the height of you, size of you, strength of you, everything is changed. That is called a growth. How it has happened? Because we are taking nutritious food, that food is digested, and that food is producing the energy which helps, we utilize that some of the energy for the growth. Even plants also, when you sow a seed, a baby plant is produced. So as the time progresses, that plant grows into a tree, isn't it? So that is called growth. Okay. Next, sensitivity. Very most important characteristic feature of all living things is sensitivity. The living things react to changes around them. We react to touch, light, heat, cold and sound. Okay. Other living things also respond to the changes in the environment, that is called stimulus. Okay. In winter our clothing is different, in summer our clothing is different, the food habits are different. So that is the sensitivity. The behavior also changes according to the environmental conditions. Okay. So touch, heat, light, cold, sound, these are all stimuli. Okay. We respond to the stimuli because we are living beings. Next, last and very important characteristic feature, reproduction. All living things produce young. The humans make babies, cats produce kittens, pigeon lays eggs, like that the different living things. Okay, the plants produce seeds, okay, by a process called reproduction. Okay. This reproduction is the process which helps in the perpetuation of race, continuation of life on the earth. Okay. So plants also reproduce, many make seeds which can germinate and grow into new plants. They show vegetative propagation also. Okay. Some reproduce by stem, some of them reproduce by flowers. Okay. Some of them reproduce by leaves, roots, etc. Okay. They are the 7 important characteristic feature of living beings. So let us now discuss the common features of living and non-living things. The similarities between the living and non-living things seen in terms of both living and non-living things share certain common features. What are the common features? A. Both living and non-living possess mass, shape and occupy space, the physical quantities, mass, shape and they occupy space, both living and non-living. B. The second, both are made up of basic structural units, cells in living and molecules, ions, okay, or compounds in the non-living things. Living things are made up of cells. Cell is the basic unit of living things, and atoms, molecules, they are the basic units of non-living things. Okay, let us discuss in detail mass first. both living and non-living things have mass, weight. Next, space. Both of them occupy certain volume or space. Then fundamental units. Number 3, fundamental units. They both consist of fundamental units. What are they? They are structural and functional units. We can also call them as structural and functional units. The living beings are made up of cells and the non-living things are made up of particles, nothing but atoms or molecules. Okay. Next, energy. Both living and non-living moved at the cost of energy. The application of that energy is different. The living things, internal energy or the biotic energy, living energy is produced. The non-living things are also moved by applying external force, energy. Okay. What do the living and non-living have in common? There are two different types of things in the ecosystem, living and non-living. The living one called as biotic components and non-living they are called abiotic components. Okay. All living things breathe, eat, grow, move, reproduce, and they show sensitivity with the help of senses. Non-living things do not eat, do not grow, do not breathe, do not move, and do not reproduce, and they won't show sensitivity. Okay, non-living things do not have senses. The criteria for differentiating, how we can differentiate living things from non-living things. For easy differentiation between living things and non-living things, the scientists have come up with traits or characteristics that are unique to them. Okay. There are certain unique features between living and non-living things. The criterion for classification is necessary to avoid the wrong grouping of living and non-living. Okay. So, hence the science developed a basis for classification. Anything that has life is considered as a living beings. Anything which don't have life, they are non-living. Okay, children. For example, humans, trees, dogs, etc. So, there are many living beings are there. Example, 3 examples we have taken here: humans, trees, dogs. While the things which have no life in it are considered as non-living. Okay, if you take a normal puppy and a toy is a non-living, but the puppy is a moving, it's a living, isn't it? For example, stone, mountain, watch, these are non-living. The scientists have discovered a few criteria for differentiating living things from non-living things. Here are some of them. Living beings can grow and develop. The living beings obtain and use the energy. Okay, they feed, they take the food material and they digest, and the energy which is produced can be used for different activities. The living beings adapt to their environment. Okay, they show adaptations. All living beings are made up of one or more cells. Okay. Number 5, some 10 to 15 characteristics are there. We are discussing one by one. Now, the 5th characteristic feature by which we can differentiate living from non-living. The living beings respond to their environment or stimuli. Okay. So, if you keep a cup, or if you pour hot tea or milk into a cup, the cup does not show any response. But whereas a living being, for example, you touch a hot milk, the reaction you will show. Okay, immediately you remove your hand. So, that is the difference between a living and a non-living. Okay, all living things excrete to remove the waste materials from the body. Okay, daily we will go for toilets. Okay, we flush out, we defecate, isn't it? But a non-living thing cannot do it. Next, living beings have the ability to give birth to their young one through the process of reproduction. Okay, living beings can propagate, can reproduce, whereas non-living thing cannot. All living beings require energy to perform different metabolic activities, okay, like digestion, respiration, okay, transportation. So, there are so many activities takes place in the living beings which gain energy. Where from that energy? From the food which they eat or during the process of nutrition. Okay. Next, whereas non-living, there is no nutrition, there is no feeding. Next, all living beings apart from the plants move from one place to another, whereas non-living thing, a table, it cannot move, isn't it? But the living beings move from place to place, okay, based on the requirement. So, this type of movement is called as locomotion. The process of movement of an organism from one place to another place is called as a locomotion. The different organisms use different organs for locomotion. They are called locomotory organs. Okay, we use our limbs. Amoeba move with the help of pseudopodia. Paramecium moves with the help of cilia. Euglena moves with the help of flagellum. Like that, the different organisms use different locomotory organs. Okay. So, all living beings, including humans, animals, plants, birds and insects, they require oxygen gas to breathe and produce energy during the process of respiration. Okay. Whereas non-living things does not require any air, oxygen, because they won't breathe, there is no life in it. Okay. If something obeys a few of the rules, these 10 rules which we have discussed now, okay, it cannot be categorized as a living thing. Okay. So, it has to obey these rules. It has to stringently follow all the given rules, strictly follow all the given rules. Then only we can consider it as a living being. So, what defines something as living? So, all organisms share several key characteristics of or functions: order, sensitivity or response to the environment. Okay, sensitivity is also called a response to the stimuli or environment, reproduction, adaptation, growth and development. Homeostasis, it is a new term. Children, let us discuss about this term. Homeostasis means the balance. Okay, we have our normal body temperature, okay, to maintain the homeostasis. Any change in the temperature will lead to fever, unhealthy. Okay. So, homeostasis means balance, and energy processing, and finally evolution. Okay, all living organisms share these key characteristics. When viewed together, these characteristics serve to define life. The definition of life specifies a wide range of species that fall into the category of living things. They are living things are made up of cells and require food to be metabolically processed in order to gain energy and sustains them, and in some cases allows them to move and do work. Okay. So, living organisms are made up of cells. These cells require energy. There is a metabolic process called respiration, during which the energy is produced and that is utilized for different activities. But non-living things are made up of particles. Particles means it may be atoms, molecules or ions. Okay, they aren't conscious and cannot move unless a force is applied, a force is exerted on them. So, this force also requires energy and can be done by either a living thing or through an automated process that requires fuel, okay, by a machine or anything. Okay, children. So, read the book. I hope you understood. Thank you for watching our video. Please subscribe our channel and press the bell icon for receiving latest updates.